It's no secret that insurers want to pay the very least possible to fund the repairs to your vehicle. I don't understand today why consumers have to write demand letters to the very people they pay to get made whole. I love this industry. I love helping people. I love meeting people. I love repairing vehicles correctly. I love helping people through the whole process. But there's something else happening behind the scenes. And I am now going to refer to it going forward as the CABAL.
Whoa. The CABAL.
That's what I'm calling it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before we get into this, and you're going to want to stick all the way to the end, folks, we definitely have to greet you with a happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you, my dear friends. So grateful that you're tuning in. All the lively conversations and the chat and in the comments.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see the chat on this one.
The likes and the views, and it's heartwarming to me, and I'm grateful beyond belief. So thank you so very, very much. Today you're going to get another, Robism, if you will.
Well, it's a different perspective for sure, but it's a perspective not based on fear, but on knowledge.
Yeah.
And we have that knowledge. We would like to share it with you, the consumer, and we think that it's important to understand why things happen the way that they do. And this is, as far as I know, the only channel that's banging this drum and telling this story. So if you haven't done it yet, click the subscribe button so that you can become notified when we post new information. We do that every single week, 9:30 a.m. on Saturday mornings. And then if you see something that maybe you found value in, give it the thumbs up.
Share it with your friends.
Yeah. That tells YouTube that that this is something worth showing to other people. And we genuinely appreciate that and all of your shares. All right, Rob, the CABAL.
Yeah.
Now, that word has a long and storied history.
When I said it the first time, you kind of...
You'll have to forgive. So I'm considered the wordsmith of the two of us. However...
caught you off guard with that one.
From time to time, you come up with something that catches me off guard, and I had to ask. But given the light of the circumstances of the last week, I think you will understand why I misunderstood what you said, and I thought you said Camal. And that's a little different.
Yeah. No.
Okay?
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Talk to me about what...
So there's stuff going on in the background. If unfortunately you've been involved in an accident and you need to get your car repaired, whatever the circumstances are behind all that,
right?
There's something looming, or there's something going on in the back room. And look, let's cover what's not a secret first.
Okay.
And that is, it's no secret that insurers want to pay the very least possible to fund the repairs to your vehicle.
Yes.
And they can't do it alone.
Let me see if I understand what you're saying. The insurers want to pay the very least. That's how they make their billions of dollars in profits. And by paying less than perhaps sometimes what they should. But they can't do it alone. There's somebody helping them?
Or some bodies. There's a lot of hands in the cookie jar, if you will. And they aren't looking out for you, the consumer. So what are we going to do about, do you want to inform everybody of what you know about the CABAL?
Yes, I do. I had to look up what the word cabal meant. And apparently the term cabal originates from the Hebrew word Kabbalah. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. It might be Kabbalah. Kind of sounds familiar, but I'm just going to move on. That word refers to the Jewish mystical interpretation of the Hebrew Bible. Now, back in the 17th century, it took on a negative connotation when applied to a group of advisors to King Charles II of England. Those advisors were seen as operating in a secretive and exclusive manner, promoting their own agendas. This historical context led to the modern meaning of the word cabal as a small group of individuals engaged in a plot or conspiracy.
I have this vision of this dark, smoky room with a bunch of figures sitting around a table making deals
With each other.
with each other, and those deals all affect us, consumers, especially when it comes to having a car repaired.
Yeah.
I want to maybe give some context of what's sitting around that table, maybe.
All right.
And so let's talk about aftermarket parts, which all these things I'm going to talk about, there's plenty of videos that we've made that speak directly to them.
Of course.
Everybody knows that I don't validate or approve of use of aftermarket parts and repairs.
Yes, we do.
They may look the same-ish. Whether they're going to work, not work, whether they're important, not important, we don't use them.
Okay.
You don't want them used on your car because they lower the value of your car. So if you have a car that has all original equipment parts on it, and then you have a repaired car that's got parts that may not fit exactly right, and you can see little things going on with it, that you're going to get paid less for that when you try to sell it, which has lowered your value of the vehicle. There's these mammoth aftermarket parts suppliers, manufacturers, suppliers, even associations that say, hey, we're going to put the stamp of certified on these parts to convince you that they are the right parts for your vehicle.
Right.
They don't ever mention that they might become decertified, which happens every single week, and nobody is going to let you know that they become decertified. I've never heard of that happening one time.
Mm-mm.
Maybe it has, and if it has, and you're a shop listening and you've contacted a guest to say, hey, we put a aftermarket certified part on your car, and all of a sudden we've been made aware that it's not certified anymore, we need to get that thing replaced for you.
By all means.
Let me know.
Yeah. Notify us in the comments below.
Yeah, no, let me know.
And if you find that humorous, notify us in the comments below.
Yeah. So you have this mammoth money-making giant thing called aftermarket parts companies
Okay.
that are selling parts for less because they're copycats. They're not the original equipment parts. In most cases, they're not even made in the United States. They're made overseas.
Huh?
So much for if your vehicle was made or assembled here, the parts that they're talking about are coming from all sorts of other places.
Understood.
Then you have politicians that are trying to reduce the manufacture of your vehicle's copyright period
Right.
to enable aftermarket parts to get a bigger piece of that pie.
Yeah. Currently, there's a time period of many years that the patent goes and covers and protects the original maker of those parts. And the aftermarket part folks have to wait that period of years before they can start doing what they do.
Yeah.
But there's legislation constantly trying to be passed at the state level and even at the federal level
To allow these cars to go on, parts go on your vehicle. And again, it's just me. And actually there's lots of people like me. We don't use those parts in the repair of your vehicle.
Right.
So I'm thinking these aftermarket part companies are sitting around this table, and who knows, maybe there's a couple of politicians that they're talking to as well that are pushing their agenda. And none of this is helping you, the consumer. None of this is helping you, the consumer.
Okay.
Then we have shops, collision repair centers, body shops, whatever you want to refer to them as.
Yeah.
They're cutting deals, and they will cut corners, use these parts, repair things that should probably be replaced, all in order to get, in return, more business from the insurer. So, and they're all graded on report cards. How many of this did you use? How many of this did you use? And everything that's good for you, the consumer, is last on that list.
Right.
And so these shops that the insurance company may say, you know what, we've got a relationship with them, or here's some shops you can go to. You want to be careful about that, because I believe they're sitting at this same table in that room. And in order for them to continue to get the business, they've got to abide by these demands.
Right.
And if they stop doing that and start looking out for you, the consumer, they're going to see less and less business.
Yep.
There's other companies that serve the industry, the collision repair industry, that perform remote scanning and remote calibrations, so that the shop that you have doesn't have to have that equipment. They just sublet it to one of these places that are also cutting deals with the insurers. That's not good for anybody but the insurers.
Right.
And them, because in return for making those deals, they get more business. The insurers are sending them business or recommending them.
Yep.
And again, I don't believe this is a good thing for you, the consumer. You have insurance adjusters that will say and do almost anything to either get you to go to one of these shops,
Yep.
or to substantiate the horrific repair plan that they put together that they're making your settlement off of, that are loaded with these aftermarket parts and these other deals that are cut with other companies.
Right. If you're wondering if this is a real thing, take a look at our playlist of the airing of grievances. I think this is episode 185. And so there's a lot of videos substantiating every single one of these people that you're listing.
Yeah. And they have lots of ways to get their way.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they'll say, if you don't agree to this, or we can't come to an agreement with the shop that wants to do the right thing, and there's plenty of them out there that do.
Right.
Finding them is the chore. We're going to shut your rental off. And now you don't have another vehicle to drive. There's so many tactics going on behind the scenes here that are not working in your favor. I don't understand today why consumers have to write demand letters to the very people they pay to get made whole. That's what your policy is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you whole. And by doing and using a lot of these things, you're being made everything but whole.
Right.
Mostly made to go away. It's sometimes unbearable,
Yeah.
the downward pressure that they put on people to acquiesce and do it the way they want it done. That you'll end up having to send a demand letter or get the Department of Insurance involved or hire an appraiser to invoke your appraisal clause or hire a lawyer to go after a bad faith because they have not honored their commitment that you have. It shouldn't be this hard to get your car fixed and fixed properly and made whole. Here's the thing, folks. There are people in this business that cannot be bought and sold, and that will advocate for you to make sure that your car is repaired properly and safely. And those are the people and the only people you want working on your vehicle. And they're out there. A lot of them watch this show, and if you have a question, you put it in the comments, and if you're not in the Colorado area, or even if you are in the Colorado area, people will chime in and lend a hand. We have the most gracious viewers that spend their time educating all of us with their comments on these videos. And there's lots of people out there that are willing to help you and that will not be bought and sold by the cabal.
By the cabal.
When you hear me talk about the cabal in the future, these are the things I'm talking about. All those outside influences that are all grabbing money to make it less expensive for the insurer at your expense.
That prepositional phrase, "at your expense," is the biggest part of this whole message, because everything that you've said, and there's some dark stuff there, brother, and obviously the imagery of the cabal is people will stand up, and I asked you this earlier. I said, what about you? I mean, you sound like a conspiracy theorist, and what about somebody who says to you, wait a minute, you're just, by going with OEM parts, and by going with OEM procedures, and by buying the OEM equipment,
and all the training,
you're part of the problem. That's why you are overcharging the consumer. What do you say to that?
I'm not overcharging the consumer one little bit. I mean, if I'm charging $66 an hour, how much could I be ripping anybody off? It's not like we're lawyers charging $400 an hour to, give advice and, so on and so forth. This whole thing is run on $66 an hour. So how much could I be ripping you off? I mean, I can't get my garage door fixed for $66 an hour.
It was 1995 when I took my computer into the Geek Squad, I think it was, and they charged me $65 an hour just to open up the computer, and that was decades ago.
Yeah, and you know what? We want you to have peace of mind, and the only way for you to have peace of mind is if I have peace of mind. My peace of mind is knowing that all the ingredients went into your repair that were necessary to keep you safe and your passengers safe, and have that vehicle operate as designed the same way it did before the accident. And it takes a lot to do that, but there's a lot of forces pushing against that.
Yeah.
And it's really important that you do some research, preferably before you have a loss. And even in the case of hail, which in Colorado happens all the time, but there's a right and a wrong way to do that. There's manufacturer specifications for all these things.
Right.
I just looked at a car this morning that was repaired someplace. they've welded on suspension stuff and all sort. It is so horrible and dangerous, and I have to help these people. I can't turn a blind eye and just say that's, sorry.
Yeah.
Got to figure out a way to help them. It takes a lot of energy and thinking to figure out how you're going to weave through that, because every situation is a little different.
And your desire to help those people, your desire to help these people, is why this channel and this series, The Airing of Grievances, exists.
Yeah.
And so, once again, we want to say thank you for tuning in, not just today, but all the times that you tune in. Thank you for those of you who have recently subscribed. We've just had an influx of new subscribers.
Thank you.
Love to have
Welcome.
more. But Rob, this is important. It's important for you to know we don't wish an accident on any one of you. But should you get into an accident, arm yourself with the knowledge that will save the value of your vehicle and
your safety.
And your safety, right?
And the safety of your passengers.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Well, thank you for this.
That's what I got for today, folks.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you have an amazing week. God bless you. See you next week.
And stay away from the cabal.